Welcome into the Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we'll catch you up to speed on the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors. What does the Odell Beckham Jr. contract situation mean for Lamar Jackson? We'll dive into that. Also have you full contract details on OBJ coming up in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, folks, we are very, very close to getting to 9.1 thousand subscribers here on the channel. I need two more of you. Just two, to subscribe to the channel for the latest happenings on your favorite team so we can reach this next milestone. Help us get there. You subscribe, you get free coverage on the Baltimore Ravens as we're talking draft, free agency, all the moves. If you were subscribed to the channel, you would have known for months that we told you that OBJ coming to the Ravens was a realistic possibility. For the best news and analysis, subscribe now. We'll get started with today's show. So now that the OBJ deal is in place, is Lamar Jackson next? Is everything headed this direction where Lamar could get a deal done? With everything that's gone on in the last few weeks of Lamar demanding a trade and then the market not really looking great for him, no real interest, it seemed, from other teams of making a deal for Lamar Jackson. At the end of the day, could he end up back in Baltimore with a contract deal in place? Well, besides just this getting announced that OBJ was coming to the Baltimore Ravens, we did see on social media some really positive interaction between OBJ and Lamar Jackson. This was from Lamar. He put this out on Twitter and on Instagram both, a screen grab of a FaceTime call between the two after the news was announced, and they were both just so excited. And you would think, based on that Lamar and OBJ are a package deal of some sorts, that maybe there was some recruiting involved, whatever it may be, that OBJ is coming to Baltimore to play with Lamar Jackson. And what did I tell you? For the last couple of months when this stuff was going on, I said, look, I would be shocked, and I'll continue to reiterate, I would be shocked if OBJ was coming to the Ravens, but without Lamar Jackson involved, if they were going to move on from him of some sorts. To me, that didn't make sense, that it would have to be a package deal where OBJ was coming to play with Lamar instead of another quarterback or a young quarterback, that he would have to be there to want to play alongside Lamar Jackson. That's the only way this would make sense, right? Well, according to Armando Salguero of Outkick.com, who does a terrific job, he laid out this situation perfectly in more detail. The Ravens captured the post and tweeted it. Yeah, this feels like a quarterback being excited. He's got a new weapon, and the team's celebrating the union. This doesn't feel like Jackson and the Ravens are at odds and each doing their own thing. It's almost like they all know something isn't coming that hasn't quite fully been completed yet. That completion seems on its face to be Beckham and Jackson both playing in Baltimore. The saga's not over yet, and there's still more on this OBJ stuff to get to here in just a second that I want to dive into. But before we do, I feel pretty confident now that Lamar is coming back to Baltimore, that a deal is going to get done, that we'll see him there at the very least playing on the franchise tag. What do you think? How confident are you that Lamar Jackson will return to the Baltimore Ravens? Scale it for me 1 through 10 in the comment section below. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Scale it for me 1 through 10. How confident are you that Lamar will return to the Ravens? Now, you may have noticed yesterday when all of this was announced, some of the language, and it's very important, the language that was used here. The Ravens and OBJ agreed to a $15 million deal, and I get those contract details for here in just a second. But there's a big difference between agreeing and signing a deal. When you sign a deal, the money situation has to be figured out when it comes to cap space and all of that. Now, I would think that this deal is pretty much done, every reason to think so, with the fact that he canceled his visit with the New York Jets that was supposed to go on today. So it is happening. It's been agreed upon. The Ravens have put it on their official social media, and OBJ has acknowledged it and everything with that. but nothing has been signed yet. And that is very important here to distinguish the two between an agreement and an official signing here. Because with the signing, that means that it's signed, still delivered, everything's taken care of. With the agreement, there's still some details and kinks to be worked out. Could that mean moving some other players around? Maybe it's renegotiating some other contracts to free up said money. Maybe it's I'm agreeing to this with the idea that Lamar is coming too. There's still a lot to dissect here before we get the official signed on the dotted line. More on this in just a second with the contract details here in a moment. Before we do, the NFL draft just around the corner. Your Baltimore Ravens going to be picking within the first round, of course, and they have 5 picks in this upcoming draft. And somebody, I don't know who yet, is going to be wearing one of these draft hats that you're seeing on your screen right now. So, what are you waiting for? Get a draft hat today while supplies last, just in time for the draft. Whether you want the white or the black, we have both options available for you now. The flat bill version for you at chatsports.com/RavensDraft. What are you waiting for? Get yours today. You will be rocking out and looking good alongside your fellow Ravens fans. You'll stand out. You'll have the same hat that the pros are going to be wearing on draft night. Get yours now, chatsports.com/RavensDraft to get yours today, right in time for the draft. That's chatsports.com/RavensDraft. So here is the contract details on OBJ. First off, a $13.83 million signing bonus. That is a lot of money for OBJ on this one-year deal, right? And the base salary is just $1.165. It is all, for the most part, based on that signing bonus, not the salary itself. Now, there could be more money potentially for OBJ to earn. Think about this. Not only are we talking about, roughly $15 million in signing bonus and base salary, there's an additional $3 million available in reachable incentives based on awards and accolades and how far the Ravens get in the postseason, what OBJ's role is and all that. There's an opportunity to make more money for OBJ. Now, here's what I was talking about when it comes to the salary cap situation for Odell Beckham and where the Ravens are at. Think about this. Right now, the Ravens have roughly $7 million in cap space before this deal is done. And it's going to cost you at least $15 million to pay OBJ. Now, I'm not a math expert, but something tells me the Ravens don't have the money at the moment to currently get that deal signed, right? And so you make some moves, whatever it may be, to free up said money so you can pay OBJ. And then obviously you have the situation with Lamar. That also comes to play as well. And everything seems to be a grand old time that they're on the same page. Lamar's excited about OBJ coming there. So maybe a deal is going to get done there on that front. So with that said, this is where things stack up. It's an expensive deal. No question about it. This is a lot of money for a receiver that's a little bit older now, that's coming off an ACL injury, that missed all of last year. No ifs or ands or buts about it. OBJ is not cheap. I'm excited he's here, and the Ravens needed a lot of help at the receiver position. They needed a running mate for Rashad Bateman, no question about it. But they just may have overpaid for OBJ, if we're going to be honest here. Between $15 and $18 million, that is a lot of money. But think about this. Okay? The Ravens of paying OBJ this money, it's not just about OBJ. You may have been paying OBJ to keep Lamar happy. So you could think of it this way. Yeah, we paid $15 to $18 million for Odell Beckham and overpaid him. But that's money that you're essentially spending on Lamar Jackson to keep him happy and to keep him there. That's another way to think about this, as far as I'm concerned, is that money, although it seems like a lot, it's not just about paying Odell Beckham. In reality, that's like paying Lamar Jackson. So something to think about on that front of keeping Lamar Jackson there. That's what the overpay is about as far as I'm concerned. So before we go, let me ask you this, the question that is on the minds of Ravens fans after this deal was in place. Did Baltimore overpay for Odell Beckham? What do you think? Was it too much money? Did they go over the top with this deal? Would they have been better off not signing him at all? Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no. Feel free to elaborate, share your thoughts if you think the Ravens overpaid for OBJ or not. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there, and I'll see you next time here in the Ravens Rundown.